This is the scene where both candidates will be tomorrow night for the town hall style debate.
Where you click to upload a picture, you have the option to add a location. For example, say you checked in here at 41 Action News.
It was awesome, Mike and Rhiannon, and there is a way that we can all get one. You can buy a replica World Series ring. I put the links to that on our website.
I talked to a couple people and they told me that they heard this explosion from miles away. Several cars are actually parked alongside the highway just trying to get a view and figure out what they heard and what they saw. Now, I do want to show you something. This is a part that is believed to be from that business, JW's Lawn and Garden Equipment. This is something that a neighbor that lives nearby brought to me and told me when he came out of his house, he saw debris, parts like this, raining down.
We know a lot of you will brave these cold temperatures for tomorrow's Chiefs game. It could be the coldest game ever at Arrowhead. So here's some things to keep in mind and to bring to keep you warm.
This crowd first arrived, I mean, the energy was just electric.
So I've talked to a lot of people today. There's no great solution to relieve that itch, but I know hydrocortisone cream's being used, calamine lotion's being used. Some people are taking Benadryl.
Well, Rhiannon, imagine this. You're sitting at work and you're watching your home surveillance video on your phone. You see a stranger come up to your front porch, pick up your package, and run away.
Down on the plaza right now, you can see the rain is coming down just in the last 5 minutes. Started getting much stronger.
Filling these seats inside the Sprint Center for the last Big 12 men's basketball tournament was both easy and quick. In fact, we broke a record.
Only imagine the chaos that was happening as people were trying to figure out what was going on.
Well, and a lot of people didn't know what was going on until they saw Ford and they saw the gun. One young man I talked to said as soon as he saw that gun, he ran and did not stop until he got to an open field.
Sports director Frank Bold joins us now. And Frank, freezing temperatures not going to cool off fans' tempers tonight.
Yeah, that's right. I was actually on the field earlier, and when you enter the tunnel to get on the field, the number's 5280. Greet the away team. That's the elevation here in Denver.
This is probably about a half a foot of water. This is a street that is right in Raymore, and it is just encompassing the road. I mean, you see some headlights in the distance. People are trying to decide if they want to pass through or not. A strange case in Independence after a man allegedly stabbed his estranged wife. Investigators found a note on that man that said he wanted President-elect Donald Trump and his wife to burn.
Incredibly tough day for the Kansas City Fire Department, especially Station 17. And we're quite a ways, as you'll notice, from that station because we want to respect their privacy. Now, police counting on the public for help solving this case. They believe there were a lot of witnesses.
A suspected drunk driver crashes into a Lawrence patrol car, injuring 2 officers. Police had a vehicle pulled over around 2 a.m. this morning when a truck smashed into the back of their car. That truck then allegedly sped off and led police on a high-speed chase before being taken into custody. One of the injured officers was hospitalized for non-life-threatening injuries. The other declined treatment. The driver of the truck is behind bars and facing multiple charges tonight. For the last year, we've heard from the Leavenworth VA that Mark Wisner resigned while under investigation, but documentation that I obtained today showed that's not the case. He, in fact, voluntarily retired with benefits.
You know,
this 25-year-old Purple Heart recipient is outraged.
that's what's so infuriating about all this. It's like, dude, to come back, to make it through all that, just to come back and have to deal with this.
He's one of dozens of veterans who say they were sexually abused by former physician assistant Mark Wisner, and they're now learning the man was allowed to voluntarily retire while under investigation.
I'm angry right now. I'm very angry because if it would have been any one of us through the VA or military, you know, now you get booted out for just simple things, you know, and we don't get a retirement, and here he's going to be collecting thousands of dollars, whether it be taxpayers' dollars, our dollars, but he's getting all this money for sitting in jail, and the rest of us are suffering because of what he's done, you know.
Last month, Congressman Jerry Moran questioned VA Secretary Robert McDonald on the handling of Wisner's case. Secretary McDonald maintained Wisner resigned.
Are you telling me that he beat you to the punch?
If somebody resigns, they're no longer an employee. That's true in the private sector or the public sector.
But that was not the case. An internal email from the VA shows Wisner filed for retirement while under investigation for inappropriately touching a patient, which he admitted. Still, the VA approved his request, and he was granted retirement on June 30th of 2014, which means taxpayers are funding his paychecks and pension.
I can't just drive up to Washington and, you know, start clunking heads together, because I know that's what everybody wants to do. Wake up. Somebody please wake up.
It pains me to see that he's getting away with a lot of stuff and it's getting buried underneath the rug.
Now, previously, spokespeople here at the Leavenworth VA simply said he left. Now, today, when I reached out to them and told them I received conflicting information, they did confirm to me that he did voluntarily retire. We're expecting to see Mark Weisner, by the way, in a Leavenworth County courtroom next week.
When Action News reporter Lexi Sutter traveled more than 7,000 miles along with a guard.
Climbing aboard takes commitment before it ever takes flight. 7,000 miles from home, above the ocean and the jungle, the men and women of the Kansas Air National Guard have a critical job.
You know, weekend warriors, not really. We're busy all the time.
A job
30,
much more important
20,
than they let on.
10.
They land in a place that looks like paradise. The beauty of Anderson Air Force Base doesn't begin to match its importance.
We do everything in Guam.
Colonel Samuel White left his family in Kansas City to oversee all flight operations.
Our job here is to assure our allies and deter any potential adversaries, which is why we have the Guard here 365 days a year.
The tiny island gives the U.S. a strategic presence in the Pacific. Here we work with allies like Japan and Australia, and we keep tabs on potential threats, China and North Korea.
Okay, that's 8, right?
I think I've been to Guam 3 or 4 times now.
Super stable. Okay.
For most of these people,
Roger.
Serving with the 190th Air Refueling Wing is a second job.
All right, start to roll out.
Tanker's rolling out.
When Commander Jared Ramsey isn't on this tanker, he's flying a commercial jet. And Chief Von Burns is also Detective Burns with the Kansas City Police Department. And 20-year-old Carly Stahlbaumer, a KU student, putting her education on hold to wear this uniform.
Right, stable.
Crews spend hours in the sky.
Roger.
A show of force and power.
Stable.
This KC-135 is also a flying gas tank.
They don't go that far without us.
Senior Master Sergeant Brian Dillon operates the boom that refuels the fighters and the bombers,
We're always the guys that are just out of the spotlight.
giving them the gas they need to get across the globe.
There is no room for error when you're a boom operator going more than 500 miles per hour and just inches away from another aircraft. That airman has to make a perfect, flawless connection.
There's a lot of people's lives in your hands, you know, the fact that the receiver could run out of fuel in the combat zone. You know, there are a lot of different things that, mid-air collisions, it's quite an orchestra of things going on.
No, Guam isn't the face of our country's biggest battle, but it requires a constant presence to keep us safe. It's a volunteer job full of sacrifice.
A little bit of side to side. Stable.
16 hours
0-13-30, looking good.
away from home.
Raylene De Sousa was hit by another driver here at 39th and Forest, so she called for a tow truck, and what she got 3 days later was a bill for more than $1,400.
You know, it's not right to take advantage of people like that.
Raylene is still in shock.
The insurance adjuster called me and he said, "Did you look at that tow? $1,435. I'm like, what?
She called Northland Towing and asked they take her car from Midtown to this Gladstone auto body shop, about 14.5 miles.
They put the car on and they said, you know, we'll just take you home. Don't worry about it. Everything's gonna be, you got insurance, right?
Her car now back here behind this gate at this auto body shop. The towing company was supposed to bring it directly here, but she says it was unaccounted for 2 days. She was also charged for that.
So the next day I called up to the shop and he said, it's not here. It's not here. So I called the guy and I said, where is my car? And he said, well, I'm on my way up there with it right now. And I said, you better be on your way up there right now, because I'm going to call the police if you're not.
We called the man who picked up Raylene's car. He didn't answer, so we went to the address registered to Northland Towing, but it doesn't appear to be in business. Still wanting answers, we went to the owner's home.
he didn't open up. Northland Towing didn't break any laws. There are very few regulations on tow companies in Missouri. But that's exactly why Raylene is speaking up, because she doesn't want anyone else to fall victim to such a big bill.
It's just like, it's just mean. It's like, why would you do something like that to somebody? And it's obvious to me now the way he was acting.
I did call 6 other local towing companies and get an estimate on a situation like Raylene's. The highest estimate I heard was $300. Reporting in Kansas City, Lexi Sutter, 41 Action News.